I used to have a really bad relationship with food. 5 years ago, I was overweight, tired, and really struggling to quit my bad habits. But now, I barely struggle. I've never felt so good and in control of my bad habits. And it all came down to this one small idea, a small mindset change. Now, we all like to have control over our own lives, our choices. And when it comes to food, I used to believe that being unhealthy was simply my choice, that I chose to eat pizza every day and drink wine every night. But I didn't really have control at all. I was just taken in by an environment that did not have my best interests in mind. The one thing that I realised I was lacking was a feeling of agency. And having agency is the feeling of being in control of your life. It is learning to see ourselves not as victims of our circumstance, but rather as architects of our own better futures, and to do so in the face of real obstacles. At my very worst, I had absolutely no control over what I was eating. I thought I did. I thought I was choosing the junk food because I liked it, but I wasn't in charge of my decision making. I was just a victim of my circumstances. I used the food and alcohol to make myself feel better in a life that lacked purpose. My reason for going about my day had become just making it through to the evening when I knew I could indulge, and nothing else seemed to really matter. Now, I've spoken with many people about this, friends, family and strangers I've just met at the gym, and there seems to be a common contradiction. The people who truly believe that they have agency over their lives, who have total control over their food choices, are usually the ones who are the most unhealthy. But how can anyone truly believe that they are choosing the more unhealthy path, the one that is going to have a negative impact on their health and their future? So, how do you know for sure if you truly have agency over your choices? Like, if someone has all the facts, by that I mean they know what the food is, the ingredients, what those ingredients do to you, whether they benefit you or harm you, then you could say that they have control of that decision. But most of the people who claim to be choosing unhealthy food don't have full knowledge of just what it is that they're eating. Like, I truly believe that the only way we can know whether we are in control, to know for sure if we have agency over our food choices, is that we have all the facts first. And if we don't have the facts, we can't really say that we had agency over those choices. In the past, I didn't have the facts. And now, even though I've read over 50 books on this and have most of the facts, I will still eat something I know to be bad for me. It's an ongoing battle, and unless I remind myself of those facts, I can end up with a bad food habit creeping back into my routine. Nothing can beat the feeling of being able to walk around a supermarket and not be taken in by the foods that lead to negative health outcomes. Of being able to seek out the foods that you know to be good for you, that nourish you, that make you feel so energized and feel so alive. We are living in a toxic food environment, one that is full of foods that have literally been engineered to be hyper palatable so that you eat more of them, so that you come back for more of them. And they've been tested on people, hooked up to brain scanning machines to see how they respond when eating them. How can you say that you had control over that choice when we know they've been designed to be addictive? Hundreds of companies produce thousands of foods that have absolutely no thought given into having your best interests in mind. They do not consider your health or future. And many companies are only interested in making things taste good at the expense of your health. One of the biggest tragedies of life is that some people are born, live and die consuming excess amounts of foods and drink that have hugely negative consequences on their health. And the tragedy is that early avoidable death and from a life that could have been lived differently had that person been informed, if they had the knowledge, if they had agency over their choices.